Hi everyone. I think that I've tried to do this video for the last 2 hours, I think, and every time I do it, I fail. So I thought of like just go live and don't worry about editing or anything like that. If this takes 2 hours, then it takes 2 hours. We're gonna be here for 2 hours, and if not, that's great. But I want to talk about my experiences with opening up a record shop. Let's see here. And I have some pointers for myself to sort of talk around. Uh, but I'll see if I can put up a banner here if anyone enters this. Otherwise, this is for later, right? Create a banner. Questions about starting a record shop. Add banner. Show. Woohoo! Man, I'm good at this. So right about now, there's one watching. I think it's my mom. Hi, mom. So yeah, the background here. I mean, most of you, I think, know me and my channel by now. It's called Sublime Media, and this is the space where I talk about records and record-related stuff. And it's really that because I've been here for 14 years now, and I've been talking about records for 14 years. And I dwelled a little bit in tech, like some audio components and stuff like that. I've dwelled a little bit in books, and hopefully I can still do more with books, but I haven't read in a while now. So mostly about records and record related stuff. 9 months ago, I started a record shop, and I call it a shop because I think that the term in English is shop and not store, not record store. Because like 2 years ago, I started to think about opening up a shop, a store, a real store, like a physical store. And I started to think what I would hold in that store, if I would have only sort of new records or new records and old records, if I was going to sell only stuff that I listen to, or if I was going to sell everything. I didn't really know. I didn't have a plan. But 2 years ago, that sort of thought started to grow. And 9 months ago, I actually went ahead and registered the company. Yeah. And I think 1 or 2 months after that, I launched my site, which is sublimemedia.se. So everything that I sort of had, my thoughts went into this shop. So yeah, we have a guest here saying hi. Did you start with your own collection? That is a great question. I'm going to put a pin in that one, and we'll get back to that after the sort of the brief intro. Okay. But I'll remember that. Yeah. So 9 months ago, I started and registered the company. And I wanted to do it online because I have some experience with running businesses. I started 20 years ago with a video production company here in Sweden. I had that for like 4 years. I also, at the same time, went into starting a business with 2 other guys in tech. We did apps for mainly iPhone and the App Store in the health apartment. But 15 years... 15 years and 2 companies. I have been the head, the manager of working in marketing. So that is my background, really. I'm in marketing. That's what I do, and I'm pretty good at it, to be honest. And I think it's awesome, really. But my main hobby is records. So it's kind of that sort of perfect storm where I have my sort of, I have been in business, I'm in marketing, I administrate, and I've built numerous web shops. throughout the years. And lately I started to dabble a little bit in SEO and stuff like that also. So all of this combined, I think, is the perfect storm for making starting a record shop online. Because I'm still working full time at my job, so I don't have all the time in the world. I decided to only sell new records because I don't have the time to be out there every day hunting for used records. There's much more money in used records, a lot more money, but it's a lot more time consuming. When you sell new records, you have a price on it to buy it, and you can put a price tag on it. And you know how much you earn. Like that is, it's pretty simple. So that's what I decided. I also didn't want to sell anything. I didn't want the shop to have Taylor Swift records and Metallica records, because that's nothing. I don't listen to that. It's not my bag, really. I wanted to sell records that I can stand behind, that I like listen to myself, that I collect. So the shop is mainly psych, prog, heavy rock from the 60s and the 70s, garage, and a little bit of jazz, because that's what I'm listening to. That's what I collect. And that is what I know and what I feel that I can talk about, having opinions on, actually honest opinions on. So, yeah. And I have the luxury of not needing to be selling Taylor Swift records because I have another job. Do you get what I mean? So yeah. So I launched the shop, and now 9 months later, I have learned so much, which brings us to my first sort of topic. But before that, I'll check the comments. We have another one from Classic Sound Wave Cult. Thank you so much for participating, by the way. I have known people who made their hobby their job, then hate the job, and then hate the hobby. Do you worry about the business and ruins the pleasure side of the hobby? This is a great question. We'll take this right away. I have thought about that too. But I've been selling records for 20 years now, mainly on Discogs and on Swedish eBay. It's been selling stuff on Swedish eBay even longer than Discog, obviously. So that aspect of buying and selling records has never been a problem for me. I have run into fatigue maybe twice, where I felt like records wasn't really my thing. But after like 1 or 2 months, that has all gone away, and I've stumbled upon something, and I love the hobby again. It's always been my absolute biggest interest that have stuck also, that I have stuck with. So no, I'm not. And for different reasons also. I mean, I mainly collect original or early pressings of records. That's the thing that makes my tummy tingle. So if I take this record, for example, this is a blues rock record on the Pie label. Shaky Vic. Cool original press of this UK blues. This, an original press, tingles so much more in my tummy than if I had a reissue of this, like that I bought for 20 euros or something like that in a store. It will give me the same music, maybe not the same listening experience, but it will give me the same music on the format that I prefer. But this is what I want. So by only selling new records right now, mainly selling new records in the shop at least, I sort of make it a little bit easier not to get tired of selling records, because my main interest isn't the new records. But with that being said, it's like awesome with new records and the reissues that I have, most of them at least. So I mean, but no, I'm not worried about that. Also, and I have talked on my channel about this before. Let's say maybe 2 or 3% of my 3,000 records that I have behind me are records that I would never sell or trade or do something with. Rest of them, like 97% of these, are expandable. I could do things with these, like trade them, sell them, whatever. I don't have any emotional connection to these. This is a hobby. And yeah, maybe a handful of records has that sort of that emotional connection that I can't really get rid of them. But the others are expandable. So I just sold like 200 records just a couple of months ago. I sold 150 records today. I'm purging all the time. It's also a way for me to keep this going and being a fun thing, is to constantly searching and getting new records. But that also means, because I don't have all the money in the world, that also means that I need to sell. But now we are not. Now we're talking about my personal collection, maybe, and not the business side of it. And I'll swoop in with this question also. Did you start with your own collection? My shop. If I started my shop with my own collection, which would be, and I think that is the way that most people do it. I've heard Dylan talk about it many times on Noble Records, that he has sold his entire record collection like 3 times or something like that. No, I didn't, because I decided only to buy and sell new records. If I started a shop in town, like a store, and I had fees, like I had to pay for the store and heat and that stuff, yeah, sure, I would take these records and sell. And maybe I sold like 200 to get my first stock. But selling records, new records, and selling them online doesn't demand anything really. A little bit of a starting capital, maybe. Maybe I put down like 3,000 euros, something like that, the first months, just to get things off the ground. But other than that, it's one of the luxuries, I think, of only doing this online at your own sort of space. You have full control, and you don't, I know the English word for it, but you don't risk that much. So yeah, let's get into my first sort of topic that I want to see here. I have a document. Sorry for the coughing there. Yeah, the first thing I want to talk about, and I'll send this in as a banner, I think. What is every day is like Christmas, but you can't play with the toys. And this is a known fact. Like one of the best things about the shop is, in my opinion, going through the distributors and labels lists. I love that. Just plowing through pages and pages of records, and records on paper, records on sites, finding the stuff that you want to put in your store for your customers, and you put in that order, people's orders, things you want in stock, things for yourself that I'm reviewing on this channel and stuff like that. And several times a week, I get packages. Every day is like Christmas. You open the package, you dwell on the records. You start to feel the records and smell the records and sort the records. And when you've done all that, it's like Christmas. But you can't play with the toys, because if you rip a plastic out of a record, it's a used record. So even if you play it once, it's still a used record. So it's the best thing in the world, and it's the worst thing in the world, because you can't play them. So what I do is that when I know that I want to play something and I want it for myself, I always get to at least 2 copies. Like so, and as you have seen the past months, I put up reviews, listen to them and reviewing them and talking about them on my channel. And on occasions, I've actually, like, if I get something and I rip the plastic off, I listen to it, I talk about it, and after that I still feel like, I don't know if it's like, is it worth getting into the collection? If not, I put it up on sale on my site, and I call it like a review sample or something like that, like a promo sample or something like that, where I tell the customer like, I have this, I've reviewed it, I've listened to it once or twice maybe. So it's open, but it's almost like brand new. And I put like 10% off or something like that. So I've done that a few times and it's worked great. And I think that I can do that even more. But if you're a big store, I mean, this is no problem. I think for Mike, the InGroove, like I bet like if he's getting a Atlantic 75 in, he's selling so many of those, like he can take one for himself. It's no, I mean, and by reviewing it for him, he will earn so much more money, selling so much more copies probably if he reviews it and talk about it in his channel. So a title like Blues and Roots with Mingus, I bet he bought, like, I have no idea, but I bet he bought like 10, 20, 50 copies of that. I bought one because I have no idea if it's going to sell. And I actually had a customer who bought the Phil Collins face value. And even if that is the one who's been selling the best, I think, of the Atlantic 75 series up to today. And it is the only one of the artists that not going to be in print. So it's almost the rarest one before it came out. A customer bought that, but didn't want, it took too long. He didn't want it anymore. So I'm stuck with one copy. And for me, I think I paid like 70 euro maybe in wholesale price. And then there's 20% tax on that. And so I put it out for like 990 Swedish krona, which is maybe 87.92 euros, something like that. So if I were to sell it, maybe I earn like 2 euro. But I haven't. So right now, it's just like 70 euros sitting in my shelf. It's like money tied up in a record that I will never buy it myself. And no one who buys stuff in my store buys face value with Phil Collins. So anyway, I don't know, segued away from the topic, but it's, you learn stuff all the time. So yeah, so Mike, the InGroove, he can take like one, he will still sell 50. If I did a comparison and a review of the Elemental Music, Lina Parhax and Karen Dalton just a couple of days ago. And I actually didn't buy that to stock up because it's not Joni Mitchell. So it's still a pretty obscure artist, even if it's in our little world of psych and folk interest. They are big artists and big records, but I mean, it's not Joni Mitchell, right? They don't sell as Joni Mitchell. So I didn't put anything in stock. I just ordered 2 for myself and some who bought it pre-order. And I haven't sold any afterwards. I mean, I put on 2-3 hours recording the video and thought that maybe that would bring some sales in to spread the music, because that's the main thing I'm doing this. But no, nothing. So again, a little bit of a getting away from the subject. So yeah, every day is like Christmas, but you can't play with toys. That's what I want to to say. Let's see if I have some more comments here. Yeah, hey Mike, Jazz Bumps in the house. Charlie louder. So do you sell strictly used stuff? No, I sell only new stuff. And if you go back and watch this later in the beginning, I talk about when I started the shop. I decided then and there to only sell new records, to have 110% control. And also, this is not what I do for a living. So there's the time aspect of it too. So great, thank you and welcome. Plastic Sound Wave Cult is asking, when I went on a recent trip to Albuquerque, the record store gave out pamphlets that showed other shops to check out. Yeah. Do you get along with other shops, or is there more competition among shops? So I live way out in the countryside. And this is my listening room, which also acts as the storage room for all the stock records. So I have about a half hour to go into my town. And my town is a pretty small town here in the west coast of south of Sweden. And we don't have any record shops here. So I need to go to Gothenburg or Malmö, which is about 2 hours up or down, to get sort of a town with decent record stores. Gothenburg is the best store in Sweden, but okay. So anyways, so no, there's no sort of physical competition when it comes to record stores here. But then again, I don't sell physical. I only sell online. So when if we go out to and talk about the sort of the online market here in Sweden for these kind of records that I sell, new records in the jazz, psych, and prog, and old music, like not new prog, like 60s and 70s. There's not much competition, I have to say. There's some physical stores that haven't really gone out online yet, and for different reasons, maybe. So when I dwelled in the thought of starting this shop, and also, I noticed that, and I talked with a lot of people, that there were a lack of this genre in Sweden. So that's also one of the things that made me, dare to try to only have those genres in the shop, not selling Taylor Swift records or Metallica records, because if I did, I would probably earn more money. But I think that there's a market for this sort of niche, and here in Sweden. And I think there is. People are starting to find in the shop and buying online and stuff like that. But with that being said, there are online shops that sells these things. But I also have the benefit of running this channel for 14 years. I have a channel that can market the stuff that I am putting in the shop. And I can talk about the music on Instagram and on other social medias in a way that maybe other shops can't, because they haven't been here for 14 years on YouTube. I have 15 years in marketing and developing and administrating shops online too. So I know my shit when it comes to running web shops. And maybe that's also something that those people that maybe are a little bit older haven't really dwelled in. So I feel like there were this sort of store online in Sweden were missing. And I have great contacts and conversations with the labels and the distributors. I was just now talking with Daniel from Riding Easy Records, like talking about the next shipment and upcoming projects of his. And I mean, this is the stuff that I love doing, like getting those connections, getting sort of only a community of people who likes my shop and buy stuff in the shop and watch my channel. They don't have to buy anything, but just like being around this. Also, the sort of a community that I'm sort of starting around myself with the labels, the musicians, the distributors, because it opens up a lot of doors. So yeah, I don't know if that was the question. Another one: do you only sell vinyl? No, I started out with only vinyl. Then I have added books. I have a lot of books because next to vinyl records, music-related books is another passion of mine. I love books. So I started to sell a little bit of books. So I bought maybe 50, 60, 70 books and added to my stock. Sorry. And I've sold one. So the book business isn't doing that great. But that doesn't matter. Just like the books with the records, because I'm kind of cautious, I'm doing new records. I invested a little bit of money into this, a lot of money into this, and it's mainly the stock. Like, so that's worth something. I mean, but anyways, so I have like 200 records in stock today that I've gathered these 9 months, and maybe 70 books. So this all comes out of my pocket. This is no credit, no bank loan or something like that. It's all from my own pocket. And so I'm pretty cautious. I only buy books, like 99% of the records and the books. I only buy stuff that I want for myself. Because if this goes to shit tomorrow and I get tired of it and I just want to put it down, like I don't want to run the store anymore, I want to buy the entire inventory out for myself, and knowing that I don't have duplicates of everything. So, and it's hard because, you know, the stuff that I like, I mean, it's stuff that other people like too. And sure, you should have that in stock. But then again, don't want to be sitting on 5 copies of In the Court of the Crimson King. You know, I already have like 2 copies of that myself. And but this is the beginning, you know. In 2-3 years time, I guess that this is not a problem, but I'm taking it slow, like going slow. And every single record that I have, if all goes to shit tomorrow, I'm going to be the happiest guy ever, because I will be rich on records and inventory. I don't know if that was the answer to the question. Let's do another one. Charlie Louder. My local shop only sells used vinyl, but he also sells instruments, stereo gear, and repairs. Books, shirts, posters, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. After the books, I also have added some, like, you know, record brushes. And I added, I use these sleeves. These sleeves and these inner sleeves. And I've done that for many years now. And I feel like that is my sort of the best ones. I've tried many throughout the years, like, and these are the ones that I use. So one day I just like, aren't I selling them? Because I really like them. I mean, I could sell stuff, like I could sell plastic sleeves and inner sleeves that I make more money on than these. But this is stuff that I use for my own collection. So I can really vouch for this. So I put that up too. And now, just last week, I added some T-shirts also. I noticed that one of my distributors also had T-shirts in stock. So I put them up there in different sizes. And again, I didn't want Metallica shirts or AC/DC or something like that I don't stand behind, you know. So I could put 100 shirts up there, but I put like 20 because I want to sell the Led Zeppelin or the Doors or 13th Floor Elevators or Revolver with Beatles, stuff that goes hand in hand with the shop. I don't know if that was the answer to that question, but anyway. Okay. So my next pointer, or whatever you want to call it, is, and maybe we have talked about this. Let's see here. Bam. So you can't make money on selling new records. The margins sucks. And here's where we need to be a little bit transparent, I think. And I won't name labels or distributors with name, because I don't think that they want that. But I can be transparent with the rest of it. So I have only new records, and you can't make money on new records. If I sold used records, I will make a lot more money. Like if I sell 100 records out of my record collection, I will get more money, earning more money from those 100 records that I would do in 3-4 months selling new records. So I would be so much better off if I spent all days with searching for used records, soaking up everything that is around town. But new records are predictable. So you have a price for it, and you can sell it for one price, and you have your earnings on it. So it's predictable. But the margin sucks. So if I buy a record from a distributor, and now total transparency, if I buy a record from a distributor and he is doing a campaign on it, like this is the best price, wholesale price he can give me, I am making like €8 on that record. And that is the best, like the best earning on a record. Most of the records that I have in my shop, I make maybe €4, maybe 5 on some, like €4 or €5. That is like what I earn selling a record. And if you take Tone Poets and Blue Notes here in Sweden, I make, if I put the same price as the big shops here in Sweden, online shops here in Sweden, for a Tone Poet or a classic series record, I earn 1.5 or maybe €2 selling that. So you have to ask yourself, like, what is it really worth it selling a Blue Note record and earning like €1 selling that? And with some records, it's worth it. With some, I don't put them up there in the shop because it's not really worth it. But for me, it's like a service thing. I want someone to go into the shop, and everywhere he turns, there's something that he likes. So I buy all the Blue Notes for myself and review them here on my channel and stuff like that. So I want my customers to be able to buy a Blue Note record, even if I don't make shit on it. Like it's like a service. So and I mean, if you buy one, maybe you come back and buy another thing later on down the road. Or if you buy that one, maybe you buy 1 or 2 of something else, and I do a little bit of money, But the margins is so damn low on these things. So yeah, and don't get me started on. I mean, during these, I had one packaging material the first 6 months, and I got some busted records in the mails. And if I send a Blue Note record to someone and I need to send another one because the postal office just ran it over by a bus, I have to do like 6 or 7 record sales just to be able to get the money that I lost on that record. So I exchanged the packing material, and I have something which is much more expensive now, but much sturdier also. And knock on wood, I haven't had one single damaged record after I changed. So you learn every day. You learn, like, so yeah, the margin sucks. But with the ones that you can buy, like sometimes when there's campaigns, you can buy them low and stock up on them, and you make a little bit more money if you have something that you earn €8 on. That's the top, like. I don't even make €8 selling box sets for €200. Like, I mean, I'm shelving out like €200, and you don't even make like €8 on it. So, but the best thing with this is hooking people up with cool music. So, is there any questions regarding this, the margins and stuff like that you want to ask? Let's see here. Since you are in a rural environment, are most of your customers local, or do you ship worldwide? Most of my customers are Swedish that buys from the shop. With that being said, I put stuff up all the time on Discogs and Swedish eBay, both for the store, but also privately, because I still have my record collection, and this hobby of mine is not only business. As a matter of fact, none of these are the business side of my my store. All of these records I can sell tomorrow, and that is a private sell, because I haven't bought them for the shop, so I'm not selling them for the shop. So you have to separate those two things, or I do at least. And yeah, so selling things for the business, selling things for the collection, So yeah, but yeah, Swedish in the shop, used wise when it comes to Discogs all over the world, and I've sold. Like I had a version release, a colored version that no one bought, and I was like, it was sold out, and it started to get some attention on Discogs and going up in price, and no one bought it in my shop. It was there, like anyone could buy it, but no one bought it. So I put it up, and like 20 minutes later, someone bought it right away. So I think I sent that to Australia. But other than that, it's the most of the stuff that I have bought when it comes to newer, like not new records, but new reissues, like from Version or Wow Records or something like that. Most of them get sold out pretty quickly, actually. So yeah, what's your nut per month? And are you making that a month? How much money I make in a month? I have to tell you, I have no idea. Like, and I don't think that it's from one month to the next is the same. I think it's way too early to say, even if I make money on it, like, because there's so much to invest in, like stock, papers, printers, packing material, everything. Like, so I think in maybe 2 years time I can really start to see how much sales I do and how much money it costs me, and based on that I know how much I would make if I made this full-time job. Here in Sweden, we every year, like, and maybe it's all over the world, but last of December, that's the book end, sort of, and you close shop for that year, and you look at how much money you earned that year, so 2023, or loss. And I think my total was, if it was 5,000 or 6,000 euro loss on 2023. So I didn't make money. I lost a lot of money. But that's not true either, because I have 200 records in stock. So that money is invested in stock, if you know what I mean. Like, does this make sense? So it's not that easy to say how much you make 1 month. Not today, not in this period. Like, I think in like 2025, maybe something like that, maybe I can sort of lean back and watch the actual numbers, I think. Hi Derek, awesome. You welcome to the sort of the very improvised show. Hi Jonas. Any plans to start selling used vinyls on your site? This is a good question. I have been thinking of that, to start a part of the shop selling used records. But I've been a little bit on the fence with it, because it's so, I don't know really. I mean, I don't have, my collection is my collection. This is the stuff that if I sell anything of this, it's so easy with Discogs. You don't have to take photos and stuff like that, and just write, and you can send photos if anything's interesting and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of job putting one record up on the shop for that just going away after one sale. I mean, you have one of those shops. So I would have to do like you do, only have very rare records, like that you get some money every time. You can't put a €5 record up there. It's not worth it. So I've dwelled in the thought of doing that. But I did a survey just last week. So I think that maybe 60 people, customers on my mailing list answered it. And 8 out of 10 answered on that specific question, answered that they wouldn't be interested in buying used records. They could as easily put them up themselves on because that part of the shop, I feel, should be like that. I sold for other persons also, so I take a percentage, and what they are getting is the exposure through this channel, through the shop, and also my work taking all the photos, doing a real sort of grading. And I feel it's too much work, and it actually turns out that people aren't asking for it really. So no, I don't think that I ever sell old used records. But I have actually thought of, and this was also a question in the survey, which like 8 out of 10 said yes to, is to find a way where I can trade in reissues for new records. So, and I have no idea how I would set this up. But in my mind, if you are okay with knowing that I need to make money on all the records I sell, and you have a record that you think is just so, you could trade that in for something else. Let's say you have 2 version records that you just think is so. You played it once or twice, it's not your thing, but there's a new one coming out that you really would like to have. Instead of buying that, if you could trade in your 2 older version records, or 3, or whatever it would be, and get the other one for free. If I could find a system for that, there seems to be interest in that. So old reissues for new reissues, which makes me then I can put those old reissues out for sale, and hopefully all of them are like VG+++ or near mint, because it's new records. But I have to find a way, with the post, with shipping here, and earning enough so it's worth it, and also sort of it has to sell, so, but I think that I'm closer to that thought than selling other old used records. Not cost of business. Yeah, 5,000-6,000 loss in 2023. Assets, yeah, but it's assets. So the loss is just assets in the company, I guess. So yeah, if we don't have any questions right now, let's go to the next topic or whatever. And this is I'm proud of this. This is a good one. Let's talk about this. Don't get high on your old shit. It's easy to buy way too much for yourself. And this has been a hard one for me, because it's like a kid going into a candy shop when you get access to the wholesale lists of all these companies. I mean, I think I have like 20 accounts maybe on different labels, distributors, wholesale accounts. And now, 9 months later, I buy maybe from 5. Like, some of them are harder to work with. I mean, 99% of all distributors and label owners are awesome people. Like, they are my peers, but there's always idiots out there, even in this game. So yeah, but those 5 have most of the stuff that I want to sell. So I end up getting from them. When buying from wholesale distributors, they often, or always, need to buy for a specific amount, or a specific sort of number of records. So one distributor, you have to have at least 25 records or they won't ship. And another distributor, you have to have an order stock of at least 400 euro, I think, or 350 euro, something like that, before they ship. So if you have 20 you're buying from, then you have to have a lot of sales to really get those packages going. But with buying for only like from 5, 6, you can get a good flow of packages sent like every 2 weeks or something like that. So to keep the ball rolling. But when sitting there on those sites and on those lists, going through the records, it's so easy to just like, oh man, I need that for my collection, and that I need that for my collection. Oh, that would be nice to review on this channel, and this and that. That guy ordered, so I'm ordering that, and this and this and that would be nice to have in stock, and then 20, 30 records get to your doorstep, and 10 of them is like for your own collection, and and 5 is for actual orders, and the rest is for like, maybe someone will buy this eventually. So it's very easy to get high on your own shit. And with those records that I have bought, like I'm sitting here and I think I have 100 records that I haven't played yet, that I have bought these 9 months, because when it comes to like Tone Poets, there were a campaign, and I think I bought like 20 Tone Poets in one order. And I have bought stuff from Long Hair Records. He's closing down sales now. He's sick, unfortunately. And such a great guy. I've ordered from him many times now, but same with that. Like, I need them all for my own collection, because he won't, when they're gone, they're gone. He won't press anymore. Like, so I'm sitting here and I don't have time to listen to it. So I'm sort of, and it costs a lot of money. So I'm shelving out like a lot of money for my own collection. So what I started to do is like, I started to add stuff that I know that I won't have time to listen to. And even if I would have time to listen to it, I can buy it again someday down the line. So I'm adding stuff from my own piles or review piles or whatever you want to call it to the stock piles now. So I'm maybe down to 50 or something like that. Yeah. So it's very easy to get higher. Shit. Do you have any questions for regarding that? We have a new one. Johnny OC. CTO Larsson, Bitcoin, don't invest in records. Invest in Bitcoin. Okay. No. Yeah, just no. But maybe that would be a good thing. But it's hard to play a Bitcoin on my turntable. I would probably buy them if I could play them. Okay, next one. I have to order pizza soon. Fourth one. Have a lot of stock, don't... yeah, okay. So I thought of this. And the thing is that I noticed pretty early on that people buy more if it's in stock. And I think that is like human nature, that you want it when you want it, and when you decided on something, you want it very fast. And that's the Amazon sort of thinking, because I bought a label maker just the other day, last Sunday. So I was sitting there drinking my coffee 11 in the morning, and I put in an order on Amazon, free shipping on this fucking label maker. And the day after, Monday, at lunch, so just 25 hours later, it was in a pickup box here in my town. That's just insane. Like, that's, and it's free shipping, and it's the best price on the internet. How the fuck do you compete with that? You can't. Like, but the human nature, I feel, is that when you have decided on something, you want it like right away. So I feel like when I have stock, I sell more records, but stock costs. So having 200 records is like a lot of money tied up in the shelves, if you know what I mean. Like, that is actual money tied up in, and I have no idea when it's going to sell, or if it's ever going to sell. You have no idea. If I didn't have any stock, everything was on order, I wouldn't have to sort of tie up anything. But I noticed that if you have a stock, it's they buy more. So have stock, but don't have too much stock. So that's a sort of, it's pulling two ways. Like, and I actually, when I sent out the survey, this was a hot potato, because I really thought that many people would say that they only buy if I have it in stock. But again, 8 out of 10, or maybe 7 out of 10, said that they have no problem in ordering something and getting it 2 weeks afterwards. So either they are lying, or I'm just worrying about something that I don't actually need to worry about. But again, I've only been in business for 9 months, so I'm learning stuff every day, and it's awesome. So yeah, if you have any questions around that sort of topic, let me know. I'll go to the next one. This is just me. I wrote these down a couple of days ago, just because I wanted to talk around these pointers, or whatever you want to call it. No new, just a Bitcoin guy. It doesn't. Oh man, what a spelling! It doesn't matter how low you price your records. Everyone wants a better deal, and that's also human nature, I think. I noticed that when I have experimented with pricing, it's like you have other big online shops here in Sweden, and if you put your prices at the same price as you sell records. If you put your price lower than them, you sell as many records as if you had the same price. And if you put the price a little bit over, you still sell records. Now, if you have a record for 30 euro and you put 50 euro on that, well, then you're fucked. No one will buy that. That's obvious. But something I've learned is that it doesn't matter if you put 25 euro on a 30 euro record and you do a 5 euro loss. There will always be people who wants a better deal. Like, they will say, I'll give you 22 for it. Doesn't matter what you put on it. And I think that I've come to the conclusion that you don't really only buy the record. Like, you're not only buying that piece of vinyl, you're buying an experience. And my shop and me is part of that experience. And I think it's super interesting. I really feel that, like, if I put a 30 euro record that any other big store has, you have let's say you have Elias Hulk, the heavy psych record. You have Elias Hulk for 32 euro, let's say that, and all other shops have it for 30 euro, or the biggest shop has it for 30 euro, and there are shops that has it for 45 euro also, but they don't know shit. So, but I put it at 32 record. I think that people would buy that, even if I'm not the most cheap store when it comes to that record, at least. Just because beside that record, you don't have a Taylor Swift record or a Metallica record. You have other awesome psych and heavy psych and prog records that would also be as good as that Elias Hulk record in your collection. And I think that is worth something too. But with that being said, it's hard to price records. It's really, really hard. I try to match the big stores, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. Like music on vinyl, for instance, I don't sell music on vinyl because the big stores has so much percentage on those that they have worked during the years on these distributors. So it's not worth it for me to put up music on vinyl records in my shop. It's just not worth it. If the distributor has a huge campaign, and I get 25% on the wholesale price, I still don't match the big stores. And if I get 25% on a campaign, you bet that they get even more on that same campaign. So it's not worth it. But again, I'm learning every single day what to add to the shop and what not to add to the shop. We have a comment. Is it about Bitcoin? No. Big stores can afford loss leaders. Yeah, obviously. Definitely, and I think that they also, I mean, there's loss leaders, as you point out, but also service. Like as I said early on in this live broadcast, I make 1, maybe €2 selling a Blue Note record, and that hasn't stopped me from putting those up. Like, and if something breaks from me to the customer, I have to sell 6 or 7 records before I will have my money back on that record that got damaged. But I do it as a service because I love those releases. I love those records, and I buy every single one for myself. So I want that experience to that the customers to have that experience also. Going into the shop, seeing the latest Blue Note release, seeing those classic Blue Notes, along with a lot of other fine music, So, and that's because I think it's fine music. It doesn't mean that everyone thinks it's fine music. If everyone thought it was fine music, I would be a millionaire. But obviously, not everyone does. But so for me, it's a service kind of thing. I don't make money on it, but then again, maybe I can make some money on some other thing that they also bought, so it's still worth it, But with music of vinyl, it's not worth it. Like I'm not selling it. Another one. Can you get items way on colored wax? Maybe get items way on colored. Ermines. You have to. Hey man, you have to. Okay, explain a little bit more. I'll take the next one, and you sort of work on that question. Okay. Let's see here. My next thing that I want to talk about is. And this is very sort of this is for any business. Like doesn't matter if you sell records or whatever you do, but accounting sucks. Like bookkeeping sucks ass. And I had a business 20 years ago. I have had 2 pretty good companies in my day. And I remember as soon as I started this one, first month, sat down, was going to do the books. I remember how much I hated it. And there are so many people out there who makes a living out of doing this for you. So if you are going to invest in anything, if you're starting a record store, I urge everyone to invest in a bookkeeper. I have one. He is the best guy in the world, and he actually also collects records, but original pressings, unfortunately. So yeah, but we are great friends, and yeah, I'm the luckiest guy in the world, and he's the best. So I just want to point that out a little bit. Moving on. Let's see here. I'm pretty fucking good at building online stores. Yes. This was one thing that I thought of when I wrote these 10 sort of pointers to talk about. Like, I'm pretty proud of myself. I noticed that I'm pretty good at what I do, and maybe you don't agree with me, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with me, but I'm pretty proud of what I have built. I've built a shop from nothing, and pretty fast I was able to build something that a person can actually go into online, look around or search, put something in the basket, have a actual sort of payment method that works for him or her, and a shipping or a distribution sort of process that works, and I set that up in maybe 2 weeks, something like that. It took to set that up, and now I have something that I can build on constantly. And I'm pretty proud of that. And I thought of that too with when it comes to sort of Dylan with Noble Records. I mean, I love that guy, and I admire him so much. I so look up to him and what he has built. And I've been a huge fan from day one when it comes to his business sort of strategy, or whatever you want to call it. Where were I go? Yeah, and I mean, and he should be proud of what he has done, and I bet he is, like, and all around him is, because I'm proud of him. Like, he has built something that is amazing, like amazing. So I just I just want to stop for a minute and really pat myself on the back, as I like, yeah, you're doing a pretty good job. Like, and I think that's important for going forward with this. So definitely one thing I have learned, I'm pretty fucking good at this, like setting up shop, deciding on what to sell, making it attractive and easy for the user, a nice experience in the shop. Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. New comments. Peter, okay. Oh, an old kissing spell release, Ermin's Way, except heavy prog from 676. Opus Destroy its title. Okay, I have to check that later on, Peter. But go to my Instagram page if you have Instagram and send me a PM and we can discuss there. It's a little bit easier to look for specific items. But it sounds cool, like 1976 and heavy prog. 1976 heavy prog. Yeah, you have sparked my interest, my man. So send me a PM. Are you afraid to lose interest in music and records when turning your hobby into a business? This is a great question, Jonas, and I actually answered that before you came in the live stream, but I'm going to talk about it again, just because it's you. No, I'm not, because my main interest when it comes to records, is original pressings, just like you. So, I mean, I love reissues and these reissues, and I've gathered some amazing reissues this year that I've been open. But what really tingles my tummy is the original pressings. And I'm watching Le Orme original Italian press that I just got, and this is one that I had just played this today. And this one, and a second press of Kraftwerk Ralph and Florian. I mean, I will never get tired of original pressings. So when it comes to new, I think that's maybe a little bit of a key right now, that I love those reissues, but it's not my main interest when it comes to this hobby. So I'm building sort of a little bit of a blockade. I don't know where I'm going with this, but no, so I'm not worried. I'm not worried that this would be, that it would be like that I will lose my enthusiasm of the hobby because it's a business or a professional sort of business. And also, I mean, and maybe that is, yeah, I mean, I'm not doing this full time. I have a full-time job and a family and a house, and so this, even if it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time, like a lot of time, this is secondary, and maybe one day it will be the main way of income. I don't know. I don't have a like an end game plan or anything. Like, I started this mainly because I could buy reissues cheaper through wholesale, and then it just escalated. So now I'm sitting here with like boxes of records all around me. It's so damn fun, and it would be awesome to have the guts to, do this not full time but part time, maybe. I don't know. I'm still excited for records, and I think that I will be, if I do right. Also, money is definitely, for me at least, a way of not letting it eat you up. Like, if I were in debt starting the shop, if I had bank loans for the stock, if I had a locale with heat that you are going to pay, or I mean, if you were in debt, I think that would be part of maybe like hard to maybe it would be less fun in a way if money was involved in that case. But all the records that I have and the books and all inventory I have bought from my own money. So everything is already paid for. Like, if this doesn't work, if I had to stop having a shop tomorrow, I could just buy out my entire inventory and I will just have 200 more records. That's also, and I think I've talked with about this in the beginning of the stream. That's why I also now, to start with this first months, I have only bought records, not only, but 95% of all the records that I have bought for stock, and the books have been records that I want in my own collection, but that I don't have, because I always have that sort of, I always have with me that if this doesn't work out, I need to buy these for myself and keep them. And then I want records to play and enjoy. So that's sort of how but I would probably have a completely different sort of tactic 6 months from now. What's your 10 favorite jazz records? Shit, that's a random question, but whoa. Breaking Point with Freddie Hubbard, definitely one of my 10 best, my favorites. Shit, let me get back to you on that one. It's shit, that's hard. That's a good one. Yeah, let me get back to you on that one. So yeah, the next one. I have to eat. 1 hour and 6 minutes, but this is fun. Maybe only for me, but starting a record store opens doors, and I want to talk a little bit about this because it truly is. I mean, the network of contacts that I have got these 9 months is insane. I'm talking with people that I've looked up to my entire sort of collecting life, and I have like conversations every day with people that are just amazing. So that's also a cool thing that I really did think of when I started the shop, that you start talking with labels and musicians and distributors and all other, I mean, collectors. Like the amount of friends and I mean other collectors that I've been hooked up with these 9 months is so cool. So I've got to know so many people, some that I didn't know 9 months ago and that I actually call friends today, and that's pretty cool. And as I said earlier, was just in a conversation with Daniel from Riding Easy Records about the next shipment. Just like Sunday evening, having a coffee, talking with Daniel from Riding Easy. Like that is my Sundays now. It's awesome. Like me down here in my listening room in the basement, talking with Daniel from Riding Easy, or having a stream this Tuesday with Lance from Permanent Records, or talking shit about Italian prog with Stefan Dimle. The other day I talked with Mick Åkerfeldt from Opeth. It's like best thing ever. So it opens up doors. What I also learned, and this is maybe of all the stuff that I've said might be bullshit, but this is true. A lot of work, and I think that there's no one that does this that don't agree with this. It's a lot of work, like a lot of work. It's work 24/7. Like when every single minute I have free, I do something with or for the shop. If it's like putting up a new record for pre-order, if it's researching a new add-on to the shop to make the experience even better, if it's talking with shipments, shipment companies about better deals, tracing packages that has stuck in Holland, and it's awesome. Everything is awesome, but it's a lot of work, and I'm not even, as I said, I'm not even doing this full time. If I did this full time, it would be even more work, because you had to really put that time in. You need the money, you need to make this your living. I don't need to make this my living. I don't even need to make money on this. I can make this a project on the side, I mean, I lost money last year on this. That is in stock now and stuff like that. But I have the ability to do that because this isn't what I do. I have a full-time job. Maybe someday this will be the full-time thing I'm doing, but now it's not my full-time job. So I have the luxury of experimenting with being a record store owner, and that's pretty neat, actually. And last one. Does anyone have questions before we put up the last one? Plastic Soundwave Cult says, do you get to listen to records as much with such a full schedule? No. And that's the problem, as I said before, I go through these lists and inventory, and I can listen to music when I do that. But and you find this amazing music, and sometimes there's campaigns and stuff like that. You can't help yourself, so you buy records for yourself or for reviewing online and reviewing on the channel and stuff like that. But I don't have time listening to it because the time I have, I spend on the shop. Like, I've been sitting here 1 hour and 10 minutes not listening to music on a Sunday evening when I could sit and listening to music. But I think this is much more fun. Listening to actual records, I think I do less now than I did before starting the shop. But I definitely listen to more music because I sample everything I put up. I don't listen to entire records, but I sample it before I buy it. I'm not stupid. Like, I buy records that I want to that I love and that I can vouch for and I want to hook up people with. But no. So to be honest, I think I listen to less records than I did before. Sad. I already pre-ordered the 18th trip. That was a good choice by you, my man. I have sold a handful of brown acid in my shop, and I think I'm the only store in Sweden that has the entire brown acid up and the distribution chain to actually get them here for a price that is not a great price, but it's a price. It's import. I take them straight from Daniel, or Lance. They are the best guys in the world, and I get it here. I have to pay toll and taxes and all that stuff, and at the end of the day, I put a price tag on it that I feel is comfortable, and I earn $1 or $2, but I have the entire thing up there and I don't sell them. Like, I sold a handful, maybe. I just sold 2 today, and I that's why I wrote to Daniel, could you add them to my next shipment? And it's so strange. I don't know what to say, man. It's the best compilations that I've ever been compiled on wax, and maybe the Swedish market isn't ready for it. I don't know. Maybe there aren't enough people knowing about them. Maybe I should do a review of every single one. Do one video to get it more exposure of every single volume, all the way up to number 18. Yeah. So I've also people has sent and asked me if I will stock the 18, and obviously I will. Everything that comes out of the retro stuff, I have to say, Daniel he recommends his newer rock stuff also, and it's great. It sounds fantastic. I've sampled every single one from the Riding Easy catalog. It's so damn cool, and also Permanent Records that Lance has. It's so damn cool, but I don't want to put it up in my store because I focus on heavy psych from the 60s and the 70s, and I don't feel like mixing in modern stuff, even if it's the same genre. Modern stuff is something that I want to dwell in. It's enough with that, so maybe one day, I don't know, but today, not today. So everything that they put out that is sort of retro vintage, from the 60s, 70s or 80s, get in the shop. So obviously I'm going to stock up with a lot of the 18th trip. Can't wait. I really can't wait. I live about an hour and a half drive from Riding Easy. Awesome. Shit. Say hello from me next time you're there. I would love to I would love to get over there and just feel the vibe, you know. It's probably the opposite of Sweden. Spelljammer is good. Okay. I haven't, maybe I've heard, but I haven't, it's nothing I know about. Okay, last pointer, then I'm going to leave you alone. So yeah, putting this up. The 10th thing that I have learned this 9 months having a record shop is the most awesome thing I have ever done, and then some. And it really is. When it comes to, I mean, obviously, seeing my daughter being born and raising her, marrying my wife, you know, those, and getting this house. I mean, the first time I set my foot in, stepped into this house, I mean, those are life-changing, I mean, events. But when it comes to career-wise, like job, something that you do day to day, you know, it's the most amazing thing I've ever done. And I'm only 9 months in. Maybe 6 years from now, I will sit and just like swear about this whole thing. But today, 9 months in, this is awesome. And I'm learning stuff, as I said, every single day. And it's all fun. There are idiots in this game too, but you can always just decide to not have do business with them. That's your choice. Like, and don't let the few that is negative bring you down. You know, it's better to just focus on the good stuff. And I started the entire thing with a phone call to Guershen and Anthony, and I still feel to this day, 9 months afterwards, that sort of bond, or whatever you want to call it, gets stronger every month. I'm focusing on putting every single month's releases out in the shop, and I sell out every time, and keep on getting orders the months afterwards. I mean, it feels like with those kind of records, that niche, I've found my thing, you know, and it's cool. So yeah, I think that's it. So maybe I'll talk a little bit about the near future, and if anyone has the last question, put it up, or else we'll wrap this up. So yeah, what does the future hold for Sublime Media, the record store or shop? I'm actually, tomorrow I'm going to venue to look for office. I just sold a record, I see up in there. Okay, so I'm going to look at a locale, and I've been thinking about this maybe 2 months now. I've been to 3 different office spaces, looking for and seeing if it's something that I can do. So in the near future, I'm actually moving this, only making this a space again for listening and having my own record collection in, and don't have boxes everywhere, and you know, packing material in every part of the house. You know, I want to have it in one space, but a space costs money. So, and the little I don't earn today, because I'm losing money right now, would go to that space. But then again, I need a space. I think I need a space at least to be able to grow a little bit, and also keep the business on one side of my life, and you know, the family and house, and my own record collection in one side of the house. So I'm looking for that, and I want a space that is an office space, but also large enough that I can have some crates, not only like shelves, but I want some crates, so people can come and actually buy records when I'm there. So I'm thinking of have put up on my shop, put up that you can book a time to go there and flip through the crates, and I'll meet you there. So book time, and maybe once a month, like every Saturday, the first Saturday of every month or something like that, I'll be at my office and have an open house, so anyone can go there and see how that works. Like, but it's a lot of money, so I need to be sure, and it has to be the right venue, the right sort of place near my house, but not too far away from my work. And so it's hard. It's going to take some time to find that space, I think. But that's the next step for me and for the store. Otherwise, when it comes to inventory and other, I think I'm going to expand a little bit on sort of miscellaneous of record stuff. I'm thinking of, I'm in talks with some record cleaning companies, and I'm thinking of putting up a record cleaner to sell also, but not having stock, but being able to order at least. But I want the right record cleaner, and I don't want it to be too expensive, but I don't want that. So I'm dabbling a little bit in that. Just put up some T-shirts that I buy from a distributor. That is like they have everything in stock. And it's in line with all the genres and the other music in my shop. But I'm also in talks with a company that prints T-shirts, and I did that for some time. Maybe you have seen my T-shirts that I did design for. But it's a lot of I don't have the rights to put. I mean, even if I take parts of record covers and I put them up on a T-shirt, it's not really mine to, and definitely not mine to do a commercial thing with. So it's hard, and if I don't want stuff to be hard, because if it's hard, I may lose interest in it. But I have a company that prints shirts that can send straight to the customer. So I'm thinking of putting some of my own design up, so you can print T-shirts, very obscure T-shirts, if you want, and they send it right home to you. Maybe that is also in the near future. So yeah, I think that's it. Let's see here. Plastic Sound gets the last word. Interesting take. Have a good evening. Thank you so much also for watching. I think that you were the one who got here first, and you looked like the one who's leaving last. So thank you so much, man. Just hook me up with a PM or something like that if you find anything interesting. I'll give you a great price on a record or two. So yeah, have a great day, everyone who's watching this afterwards also, and talk to you in another video.